Today we're here with Ostojic, the Chief Business Officer of Infobip. Infobip is a global leader in omnichannel strategy. Thank you so much for your time today and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, let's jump right into it. Infobip has grown from zero turnover to about $1 billion in less than 14 years. What do you think were the milestones along the way, and what do you think were the strategies that helped you achieve these milestones?
It's actually quite an interesting story. We call it like a zebra story because we bootstrapped the company to $1 billion revenue with no external investment. So I think we started even before 2006 there. Our founder, Silvio, and Isabel were working on multiple versions of Infobip, and they did many pivots until they found the product market fit. And then in 2006, they incorporated a company, and at the time, everybody was like focused on internet. It was still just after .com bubble. The internet era was starting. People were building web portals, but somehow they saw in the future that actually it's the messaging that will be important because SMS was just starting, and there was no way for you as a business to register as an entity and send messages at the time to consumers. So we actually built a whole kind of process and the hardware and software platform. And we allowed businesses to start sending communication to their customers just via API. And we built a whole company around API, which was crazy at that time, but actually started growing really, really fast. So we built this API economy. And then with that, we actually started growing very quickly internationally. So we started launching our business in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, and scaling customers. And I think that was the, let's say, to your question, first strategic pillar that we did is the building like large global scale. And then with that, we also worked very closely with telcos or the operators to create this, what today we call hyper network, where we have 850 carriers directly connected to us so that we can guarantee compliance, reliability, delivery of messaging, voice, whatever communication you need. And we also started building our infrastructure, so cloud infrastructure, having data centers localized to fit the local rules. So that was kind of a first wave, and that drew us into further developing our service model to serve the customers that have need to send communication. So like banks, enterprises. So instead of growing with developers like some of our competitors, we grew with like a large enterprise or platform segment. And that was another important thing. And so with all of that elements in place, we actually experienced further expansion into many countries. And then we started adding other channels because we realized, okay, people don't want anymore just to communicate with SMS. They might need WhatsApp, they might need voice, they might need other messaging channel, they might need email. So we started expanding our platform, and that brought us to, let's say, around 2015, 2016, where we actually realized that interactions in businesses, people will move from communication to two-way interactions, to real engagement. So we also started building software that enables now businesses to use these rich communication channels to have two-way interactions as opposed to just mainly one way. And with that came the next era of growth where we started building that model. And then there was one gap in our global development, and that was United States. Somehow there we couldn't really just organically build it. So we acquired that's where we raised the first round A. And that was after that billion revenue mark. And we acquired a company, Open Market, in the United States. And that gave us like connectivity and the network in the US, like in the rest of the world, and access to that market. That was an excellent company that has a lot of big customers. And then shortly after that, we also acquired Peerless Network to get the voice network and connectivity in US and access to more of customer service platforms like call centers. And so with that, we completed like our footprint in CPaaS, and we're today one of the largest players. And then our software stack and go-to-market has matured. So we are actually also now a partner that can build not only communication or interactions, but real conversational experiences in different channels. Or coordinate across different channels. And then the final piece came now, beginning 2023, with rise of GenAI, which now enables us really to kind of bring all the components for automating customer interactions, adoption through rich messaging, and then conversational experience through combination of the software we built previously and AI, and we can really be a partner of businesses for their digital transformation.
Incredible. So yeah, we just spoke about Gen AI and conversational AI. What do you think are some of the trends that you're foreseeing in this space?
Yeah, I mean, there are several trends. So, the industry is moving so fast that it's almost hard to keep up. But one trend is really the demand for this type of services is growing. As people got comfortable with ChatGPT, as they got comfortable with voice bots, they expect, for most of the transactional tasks that you're always on live. That's from a consumer side. The other trend from a consumer side is that younger generations are more tuned to digitally or conversationally interact with the business as opposed to like visits or physical phone calls. We see that, Gen Z strongly, 9 out of 10, prefer this type of conversational interactions than actual visits or calls. And Gen Alpha is even more stronger. So this is the trend that's coming. So we are having growing demand for conversational experience. At the same time, we see actually also growing supply. So we have maturation of conversational channels that are now turning into super apps with various connections to ecosystem like entry points, click to chat, click to chat from search, and so forth, as well various different elements that create app-like experiences in messaging, including payments that you have also experienced here in India, and then integration with catalogs, carousels, and deeper phone ecosystem. So the channel of adoption is maturing, and then the technology of Gen AI technology or conversational AI technology is maturing from what used to be historically rule-based or NLU bot to Gen AI bot, and now to agents that can autonomously decide and do actions. And that creates very powerful combo because you have growing demand and you have means to satisfy that demand through supply. And that's actually really good. Now, not to stay on that top level, because you already are a witness of that here in India, I think the next wave of trends will be much more around how can I extract first-party data from these conversational interactions and enrich that communication? How can I bring personalized multimedia as opposed to just text bot into that? How can I make this experience omnichannel and connected across the channels? Meaning, if I start talking in your in-app chat and you continue engagement via WhatsApp, I want that to feel like continuation of conversation as a consumer. How do I, build my tech stack to support this kind of two-way interactions? Because most of today's software is mainly one-way. And how do I actually, extract ROI from this? Because we had a honeymoon of experimentation, but more and more businesses will require kind of a service model that help them deliver value as opposed to play with the technology. So those are just some trends forward-looking that I would summarize. Besides what I told you already that is happening with this intercept of demand and supply.
No, that's a really good summary. Thank you so much. So now, in an increasingly digital age, AI privacy and security are quite key concerns for consumers. What is Infobip doing to ensure that consumers have a very ethical and secure experience with using your communication channels?
Yeah, there are actually, let's call it maybe main three things that we're doing. One is we're using power of our infrastructure to secure local compliance, regulation, and so forth. Our cloud footprint, for example, we have localized data center in India, our bullet and future-proof for regulation or regulatory changes when it comes to the data privacy. The second thing that we're doing is we're using power of our network further enhance the protection and security. This is more globally. Hopefully it'll come to India, but we're using, let's say, network APIs to check for risk signals. Have the SIM card have been swapped, or is this the person we think they are? Are they calling, or they're at the location where they think they are, and send signals to businesses when something is wrong? by exposing those Camara standard APIs to our customers or security-related intelligence. And then the third element is really securing our tech stack with various AI products that can detect fraudulent actors or fraudulent attacks. That starts from the channel, meaning kind of like branded calling, branded messaging, AI products like Signal that detect fraudsters, to actual partnerships or products that also within conversational AI detect various attempts of manipulation of AI bots or abuse, and that can prevent it. So like trying to kind of trick the bot to give you some private information, we can detect that, or any other attempt. We have pretty mature suite together with our partners there to provide enterprise-grade security for generative and, in the future, agentic AI.
Wonderful. So there's quite a lot of tools actually in place to maintain that security.
Yes, we are
Wonderful.
Sort of enterprise-grade. So we look from infra through the network and channels to the conversational AI stack that we actually have all layers covered with various security products.
Amazing. So now there's quite a lot of businesses that are sort of looking into adopting omnichannel strategies. So what advice would you give a company that's looking to integrate AI-driven communication into their system?
Yeah, I think the most important thing starts, again, like in every good digital transformation, starts with analyzing customer journeys versus your strategic goals. So what I mean by that, if the center of your world is your app ecosystem and you have a lot of app users, you'll build your conversational experiences in one way. Maybe most of them will be in-app chat. You will use channels as an engagement tool. However, if that's not the case, you might want to expose the same experience across different channels. And you will analyze where in your journeys you could have maximal ROI. So that's one advice for businesses, really, to start from that domain transformation. Like, I can transform marketing, moving it to conversational marketing, and quantify that. Then I think the second advice is then actually start by sort of then creating vision of where you want to go with use cases and try to do proof of value. And then at the same time, you need to think about like scalability of what you're building. Like, how will that fit to my tech stack? What will I replace? What will I add? These kind of things. And then the final thing is thinking also of the organizational aspects to deliver that. Because, these conversational experiences can make you like very agile, launching a lot of experience super fast. But you need to have an org that's able to deliver. And you need to think back from a customer's shoes. Because today, organizational silos are preventing us to maximize the return on this. Because, for example, I spoke to a large enterprise, and they have an outbound team that's just sending outbound messages. And then they have an inbound team, and these are in two different departments that don't really talk to each other. If I'm a customer and you're interacting with me through WhatsApp, I'll ask you what I want to ask you. If I have a support problem, I'll just use it there to ask. So you need to kind of build integrated journeys, but then the backend, the organizational capabilities have to be aligned to that. So that's the third thing. So to recap, really number one is starting from the domain that you want to transform. Number two is then building a vision, proof of concepts, and thinking of a tech stack that will support that vision. And third is ensuring that your organizational readiness, that your organization is ready and that the silos are broken and the data is flowing between different departments and different internal systems. So that would be kind of in a nutshell.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. This has been a very insightful conversation. I want to thank you again for joining us, for giving us your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to talk to you.